Hello, dear friends. Here we are, Wisdom for the Spiritist Practitioner. We are here on day 16th of this beautiful journey, studying a book that is coming about in English, Educandário de Luz, Educational Institute of Light. That's what the superior spirits in this book tell us about, that the Spiritist Center, the Spiritist Temple is, without a doubt, that Educational Institute of Light. And for all of us, we need training, we need wisdom, we need to be careful, we need to be open-minded, and to be constantly instructing ourselves. Inevitably, these books are not in English yet, so they're coming about as we speak. And today, we're going to talk about Educandário de Luz is the book, and the message is mental concentration. Mental concentration is the message by the spirit doctor Andre Luiz. Andre Luiz is the spirit doctor who learned about spirituality after he discarnated, and he came to tell us more through the hands of Chico Xavier. And the first book he published was No Solar. And later the messengers, later missionaries of the light, and so on and so forth until we reach and life goes on. All of these books mark a different era in humanity because they talk about these two worlds and how they interact. We cannot forget that Spiritism is a science that studies the nature, the origin, the destiny of spirits and the relationship that they have with the corporeal world. So we are spirits, you and I, and we are here to learn by interacting with this matter and by knowing that we're spirits in a physical journey and not the reverse, right? So Andre Luiz is going to give us some tips and hints about how to best prepare ourselves for the Spiritist practice. Mental concentration, that's the title of our message today. We're going to read it, and soon after, it's not too long, we're going to make comments. He says, friends, much is talked about mental concentration. Circles of faith focus on untimely appeals to Christ. Companions of the ideal concentrate with flawless exterior silence, sustaining an inadequate inner shout. However, we must ask ourselves what resources we're putting together. Simply words or simply supplications? We know that the just requests must be based on fair law. Putting your head between your hands, it is imperative to remember that it is up to us to revisit in such attitude the results of our daily lives. The little prizes acquired in the regeneration of ourselves and the vibrations that we are spreading along our path. That is why we unpretentiously offer to our companions some reminders, which we consider of importance in guaranteeing our spiritual concentration. So he outlines 10 reminders to the Spiritist practitioner to achieve mental concentration. Number 1, outside the sanctuary of your faith, do not forget the respectable approach that is assigned to you within it. 2, keep your ears against the tubas of calumny and slander, knowing that you must listen to the construction of the good. 3, do not lend your word to unworthy words, so that the suggestions of the higher sphere find your mouth clean. 4. Do not fixate your eyes onto the faults of others, understanding that you have been called to see in order to assist others. 5. Fulfill your everyday duty, however unpleasant or embarrassing it may be, recognizing that education does not arise without discipline. 6. Learn to find time to live with good books, improving your own knowledge. 7. Do not indulge in anger or discouragement, in lightness or in unhappy desires, so that your soul does not become a note out of tune in the harmonious whole of prayer. 8. Walk in the climate of optimism and goodwill towards all. 9. Do not hang your imagination on the gray hanger of complaint, and do not visualize the evil of anyone. 10. Cultivate constant and selfless assistance to others. It is in forgetting the self that you'll be able to concentrate your mental energies on prayer, and thus your thought will rise victorious to serve in the name of God. This message is from the Spirit Doctor Andre Luiz through Chico Xavier in the book Educandário de Luz, the Educational Institute of Light. It's coming about in English, and this is a message by the Spirit Andre Luiz to all of us. Right, friends? Right, Tia Abby and Angelita, how are you? Karina, beautiful Karina. Teresa Castro, Teresa Catapano, how are you? Lea Severo, beautiful Lea. Lisa Teles, Andrea Torres, Sunshine, Lívia Moraes. Friends, it's very important that we think about this before we break it down, because we think it's a given. We would rather ask ourselves, what is your level of mental concentration currently? Right, Rudy? Present, pleasant in this present, beautiful present. So let us ask ourselves, shall we? Shall we ask ourselves, what is my level of mental concentration on a daily basis? Is it easy? Am I focused? What is mental concentration after all? People think mental concentration is about closing our eyes and keeping ourselves focused. It's about the mental focus. That's what he's saying. How focused are we, spiritually speaking? How focused are we in our spiritual goals, which are ultimately our primary goals? In a scale 0 to 10, 0 being not focused at all, and 10 being super focused, figuratively speaking, how focused do you think you are on your spiritual priorities, your spiritual goals? Because you and I are, without a doubt, temporarily incarnated. I know people who often see spiritual people who are focused, religious people who are focused. They're like, you're a fanatic. Okay? And we could, in our turn, say, I'm sorry, but I would rather be focused, not fanatic, than distracted. Because I was distracted in the past, in this life or a previous life. No longer. I'm focused. I'm not going to waste my time any longer. Right? Teresa Castro, a 6. That's beautiful, Teresa. Lívia Moraes is mentioning, for some people, mental concentration is easy in a peaceful and quiet place only. Exactly. But when we talk about our daily life, like for example, you go to a party. How do you keep your mental focus, your spiritual concentration there? It's not that complicated. I mean, it's not easy either. We need to practice. But if I think when I am in, preparing myself when I go there, that I am there to help people, that I am there to reach out to those who are in need. If I have to be in a social gathering, sometimes because of work, because of family reunions, because of inevitable connections in our neighborhood or schools, etc., how do I prepare myself to be there? I think everybody is a child of God. We are children of God, and then once I feel it, I know that each and every person has a guardian angel. So if each and every person has a protecting spirit, if that person is off, instead of connecting with the person, I connect with the guardian angel. Mine first, saying, please, mentor, can you help me stay focused? And can you help me connect? Knowing what to do in this circumstance, how can I be of help to you? Sometimes it's not saying anything to anybody. Sometimes it's smiling. Sometimes it's saying a good word. Sometimes it's just being supportive. Like the other day, I was passing by, a mall. I entered. We were playing. Virginia was in the playground and she was playing there. And once there was this girl who bumped her head and the blood was coming out. Everybody stopped. People were like, I don't care, it's not me, it's not me. And I said, Virginia, we need to go help this woman. The mom didn't know what to do. She was desperate. I said, let's come to this help desk and they will know. Okay? And they will know. They will know for sure what to do. Okay? So if you are listening to us on the radio, remember, friend, we are here on Kardec Radio's Facebook page, okay? Thank you, Alexandra, for being with us. We are here, right, Sylvia? Right, Daniela. How are you, Daniela? Where are you coming from, Daniela? So, let's go over the list. He says mental focus in terms of our spiritual focus. Daily, super daily. And you know where you can read this message? This message is published in the Spiritist magazine, the latest issue. If you go to thespiritistmagazine.com, the latest issue is there, and you're gonna read mental concentration. We have the PDF, we have the app. Did you know we have an app free of charge? And Andre Luiz message is right there, mental concentration, and you can read it. It's right there. So he says, in your daily life, do not forget to be respectful to people. And it's funny when Andre Luiz says this. You know why I'm saying this? Because in the book Missionaries of the Light, he knows and he reports spiritists who go to the Spiritist temple, are mediums, are working mediumistic meeting, but when they are walking in the streets, they're flirting with people. And we think it's harmless. No. He shows to us the consequences. And this is not in a Puritan way. He's just showing the consequences of our daily actions. That's why he's saying, outside of the sanctuary of your faith, keep the walking the talk. So, flirtations, or anger, or carelessness. Some people are like, oh, well, you remember, if you watched once the movie Spider-Man 1, You know, there's so much wisdom in this children's things. The movie, I remember many years ago when I watched it, there is a moment in which the boy who is Spider-Man, he has an uncle. So he wants to get, you know, fight for money to buy a car, etc. So he goes upstairs. The uncle is downstairs. He goes there and he wants his money because he won the battle, the fight, or whatever it was. I forgot now. And the guy didn't want to give him the money, so he was upset. And as soon as he was getting out of the elevator, this robber came in, stole all the money, and was coming out through the elevator. So he had an opportunity right there to stop that robber and help the man, though this man was not very fair with him. He let this robber go. When he goes downstairs, his uncle is dead. And then we learn in Spider-Man 2 that the reason why his uncle was dead is because he himself didn't stop that robber from actually running away. So it tells us, I'm just giving you a figurative example of how it happens in our daily lives. Sometimes we're here in our daily lives and we wash our hands like Pontius Pilate. It's not with me, I don't care, and things go on. Tomorrow, our family members go through that pathway, and because we didn't do our part, they will suffer the consequences, if not ourselves. So Andre Luiz is saying, walk the talk, even though you are not in the Spiritist Center. Right, Adilson and Tanya Stewart. He says too, close your ears to slander and calumny. It's so funny the world we're living in. There's so much good happening in the world. And when people do the good, others always find ways to create because of spite. You know what spite is? Despeito. Spite and envy, they always find a way to I'll give you an example. How will people know of Spiritism if you don't talk to people who are not Spiritists? Right? But there are people who are so afraid, they don't talk. But when they find people who are not afraid, they slander the person, saying, oh, we shouldn't talk about these things because what if people change? And it's that inquisitor mindset, you know, from Inquisition. We keep this knowledge only to ourselves. To those who are spreading it out, we just think that they are wrong. It happened at Paul of Tarsus. It happened with our Master Jesus. Master Jesus was not encapsulated in the bureaucracy and those little organizations that think that they are the ultimate organization, like the Pharisees of Jesus' time. He was simply working, helping, without temples, because the temple of God is actually inside of us, and as Leon Denis says, is the universe. Right, says, how are you and Marcella? Alexandra is here with us. Thank you, my friend. So, in the third part of it, do not lend your word to unworthy words. And you know, keep your mouth clean. It's funny because I remember somebody telling me years ago, oh, Vanessa, what is a bad word? A bad word is just a word. And then I asked Mentor Joseph, is that so? And he said, you know, a bad word is always bad. And why not use a good word? If bad words don't mean anything, why using them? And why not using a good word instead? So, of course, bad words mean what they are. They are not good vibrations at all, and there are true intentions in behind it all. So we really need to pay close attention to it. And he's saying, if you don't want to lose your mental focus, keep your words clean. You know? Daniela, how are you? You're in Massachusetts now for 2 years. Welcome. Feel embraced by all of us in this beautiful country that, without a doubt, is so good for many people. So, number 4, do not focus your eyes on the faults of others. This is beautiful. Our focus should be in helping others. We are who we are. People are who they are. We want people to be merciful with us. Let's be merciful with them as well. Do not waste time. Remember Emmanuel saying, seek the good. Seeking the good requires effort. And you know, we'll not forget when Jesus recommended, yes, yes, no, no. Yes, yes, no, no. There are times we have to say to the most loved ones, like Jesus taught us, no, I won't do it. I remember many times I traveled back to Brazil to visit my family. But there was a moment very soon. In my first year here, when I went back, I started my first trip away from the state of my family. Visiting my family, but also visiting the Spiritist family in other states. And at first, some family members who love me, I know, they were like, but Vanessa, you are not going to be with us the whole time? And I said, but I need to talk to these other friends, and we're doing Spiritist work in the U.S. We need to learn more and exchange and be prepared. So for years, people wouldn't understand. And I had to make my choice. And today, after 20 years in the United States, every time I go to Brazil, I make sure I make my Spiritist visits, visiting the Spiritist family as well in Brazil, in other cities, other states, to learn, to share, and why not? Today the family understands, but it took a while for some people to understand it. Would I regret stopping at the moment that people didn't understand me? Yes. So we need to stay strong, be real, and say yes, yes, no, no. You think Jesus the Master, he was always validated by his family? No, never. Thank God, he never quitted his goals, his mental focus, because of those who didn't understand or had no mental focus. That is something for us to keep in mind, because in the Spiritist circle, one of the things that I see the most overall is when Spiritist practitioners say, I'm not going to be able to do this or commit with that because of family members. And they always ask me, Vanessa, what do? I say, you know, do what is inside of your heart. But remember, do not use unconsciously your family members to give the excuse that you would like to give. Because if you really want to do something, you're going to say to your family, I love you, but I need to do this. Sometimes they use those excuses and they shield themselves with Spiritist families, and that's really bad. And since this is a conversation to Spiritist practitioners, there's one element that we're going to make clear here. I've seen people around the world who use their spouses as excuses for not being more committed and engaged. But you know what they do? They go to the Spiritist Center and say, I cannot do this because my husband, my wife, my daughter, my son. I've seen it even in Baltimore, a woman once, many years ago, saying, I can no longer come to the Spiritist Center because my 8-year-old child prohibited me. And the mentor said, Vanessa, that's just on the surface. Deep inside, she doesn't want it, but she has no courage to even recognize it herself. And I've seen people who use their husbands or wives as shields, saying, I cannot commit that much because of my husband and wife. But they go home and they say to the husband and wife, oh, the president of the center wants me to be there. And they create this animosity between people who have never seen each other. We're going to be co-responsible for what we're creating, because that husband or that wife does not know the president of the center, the director and coordinator of that meeting, and we have no right to be that childish and creating animosity between people who don't even know each other. We need to be more mature and look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I don't want to do it. And be sincere. Tell the coordinator, I would love to, but I don't want to. But do not create animosity between the president of the center or the director of that meeting and your spouse or your family member. Telling stories here and there, because that is not a peacemaking skill. And Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers. Quite a lot, huh? So I'm going to show you something to make it lighter. Look at this. Smile. Jesus loves you. Just to give you a break. I know the conversation today is a little bit too much, but it's needed. Andre Luiz sharing this with us. He says, number 5, fulfill your everyday duty, however unpleasant or embarrassing. Recognize that education does not happen without discipline. Right? Giovanna Souza, how are you? Simone, how are you? Yes. You don't have a Spiritist Center there, Daniela? But there are many groups in Massachusetts. We have many friends in all of the centers. We would recommend that you take a look at spiritist.us if you haven't done it yet and find one close to you. Adorable friends in all of the centers in Massachusetts. They're doing fantastic works there, okay? Now, he says, fulfill your daily duty even though it's unpleasant or embarrassing. What does this mean? We need to be more diligent. Diligent, diligent, diligent. How so? By doing the following. Somebody wants us to clean. We clean. But I don't like cleaning. Don't do what you want. Do not do what you want only. You know why? You're going to spoil yourself and there's not much progress there. As he says here, we cannot raise ourselves to other levels if we don't have discipline. And discipline begins with self-control, self-management, self-observance. No wonder we have Emmanuel telling Chico Xavier, if you want to help, you need discipline, discipline, discipline. In several books, Emmanuel and Andre Luiz say that discipline comes first and then spontaneity. Totally different from what many parents are doing nowadays with their children. Yeah, let them choose. Let them do their way. No. First, they do what they need to do. Then they choose what they want to do. Of course, we are kind, but kindness and discipline can complement each other. They are not mutually exclusive. We come from many generations when we think that we should do whatever we like, or we're going to be smashed by repression. No, it's not one way or another. There is a moderation, a middle way, what we call self-management, that makes us grow, and then spontaneously we're going to gravitate to other levels as well. As we read in the book Evolution into Worlds, one step being conquered leads us to another step, and then to another step, and then to another step. So for parents around the world and educators, don't be shy helping your child achieve self-control. Self-control, self-management, self-observance is the ultimate pathway for inner accomplishments. The child that does not know how to sit still at 2, they won't learn it when they are 7. If they don't learn how to stop eating sugar on their own, they won't learn when they are 14. But Vanessa, how do I do it? Talk. Explain. Mentor Joseph always said, tell Virginia. And we say, Virginia, look, if you eat this cookie, let's say this is a cookie, you can eat it, but you're going to observe your body, how it's going to react to the sugar. Because when sugar goes inside, it changes your molecules, the way you feel. You want to test it? And she's like, yeah. She says, oh. And then she starts jumping up and down, up and down. You say, you see? That's what sugar is doing to you. And then you feel cranky later, or you feel like tired later. But you know, sugar is not going to make you feel all that happy. So learn. So she's able to bite and say, I no longer want it. At 3 years old. So the spirits are right. You talk, you instruct, you deliver. That brain has so much potential for neuroplasticity. It's funny when I find educators and parents who are afraid of talking to their kids, thinking that they are not going to understand them. And I'm going to say, look, that brain is at the top of its neuroplasticity, which means it's going to absorb anything you say. So the more you talk, the more you expose without stressing them out, the more they are going to boost their synapses. I have teachers who tell me, but Vanessa, they won't understand it. As a neuroscientist, I will prove to you that they will. As a spiritist, I am sure they will. Because the immortal spirit knows what we're talking about. The physical brain cannot manifest it, but it's absorbing it. It's absorbing it. That's why it's important to talk about emotions with our children. It's important to help them observe their bodies, how food affects their bodies. Like, for example, they eat prunes and then they go to the restroom to poop. And you say, you see, the prunes helped you. Now, let's eat some strawberries so we feel refreshed. It has vitamin B. Berries have vitamin B. Teaching them that food is medicine, is the first medicine. Let's drink some chamomile tea so we feel more relaxed. Not that they will depend on it, but showing that whatever they put in their mouth is affecting their physiology, is affecting the way they're thinking. This is what we call discipline. We need to observe ourselves. So Alexander is saying parents are also lead and teach by modeling. Exactly, Alexandra. You know best. We needed to do it ourselves. Exactly. Talking about the cookie, sugar, but eating 10 cookies in front of the kids. So we have a policy at home. We don't eat anything or drink anything that they can't, the children can't, except to coffee. That's inevitable. They say, what is it? Coffee. But coffee is more for adults because it has caffeine, and too much caffeine when you're young is not too good. But I don't eat sugar stuff if I feel like it in front, if I don't want them to eat. And preferably, I don't eat it at all if I don't want them to eat. Right? Yes, Alexander, Brazilian coffee. Sylvia is saying, especially these newer generations are more advanced spirits. You're right, Sylvia. And even Kardec said that in 1857, it's in the Spirits book. When he asked the spirits, is it possible that a child is more advanced than the parents? And the spirits told Kardec, most often than not, that is the case. That doesn't mean we're not going to do our part. That means simply that we're going to do our part in a wiser way, less impositional, not repressive at all, but educational. We don't say no for no. For example, Virginia is not even 4. We don't do timeouts. We don't ground her at all. She doesn't even know what it is. Why? Because we talk to her. We say, now, like today, she was in a store, wanted to buy something. I said, today we're not buying anything. Why not, Mom? Because if we buy things every day when we come to stores, we're spending money that we don't need. We need to plan. If we want to buy something, we plan it. We keep the money, save it, and plan it. Because money is just the expression we used the other day. Mentor Joseph said, money is material vitality. Money is material vitality. We don't simply say, we work with it. It's like gas in the car. Either you put it inside to make the car work, but you don't put it outside, because if you put it outside, it's not going to make the car work either. So we put the money where we need it. Right? So I said, Virginia, if we buy it today, we won't buy something tomorrow. So we better not buy it today. She said, okay, Mom. She put it back. I know it's easier to say, because I don't want it, because I'm a mom. And then, and didn't learn anything. Why not spending more time and saying? Sometimes you have to say, right now we can't, period. You know the reasons why. But it's a talk, conversation. And Andre Luiz is talking to us just like that. He's saying, learn to find time to live with good books, right, Karina? All of you here, you love books. Improving your own knowledge. Quiz for us. Quiz. I'm gonna ask for you to reply, huh? Is knowledge something that we carry to immortality? I'm going to wait for your answers. Is knowledge something that we carry to immortality? Let's see the answers. I'm quizzing us just so we are fully awake. Yes, Lívia Moraes is saying. And Karina Alice is saying yes, of course. Sunshine is saying yes. Teresa Catapano is saying yes. Tani is saying yes. Alexander is saying yes. And Angelita is saying yes. Leia Severo is saying yes. Kathy. Welcome, Kathy. Thank you for saying yes too. There you go. Yes, yes, yes. What does that mean? The implication of it is huge. It means whatever you acquire as knowledge is never a waste of time. Never, ever, 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 ever. You take it to immortality. So if you say, I'm going to waste my time taking this course in Spiritism. No, you won't. Right, Lisa Tellis? Adilson is saying 3 yes. Yes, yes, yes. You're right, Adilson. Rudy, sí. Como no. Right, Rudy? Yeah, it's almost like that immortality. Immortality. I make my journey through eternity. I keep the memory of you and me inside. And we keep the memory of everything we acquire. And Leon Denis, in the book after that, he goes even beyond. He says, we keep the memories of what you think, feel, say, and do. Everything, everything. Oh no. But you know, the beauty of it all, like a computer, you can organize the files. That's why therapy is good. You organize your emotions, you organize your thoughts, you organize what you have experienced. How else do you think a spirit that is growing, evolving, rich spirit, what happens to all of the memories of those past wrongdoings, etc.? It's archived, but archived in a way that it doesn't any longer bother the spirit. Case closed. Boom. No spirit is created already at the pure level. Perfect? Yes, but we need to reach the blossoming of it all. Right, Teresa Castro? So Nina is saying modeling is really important. Okay? So, back here, we have, so, good books. Learn to live with good books to keep the mental focus. I know many people watch talks in Spiritism, etc. That would be a way. Listen to Kardec Radio and other Spiritist radios. Wonderful. But every day, a good thing is to put books all around the house. You sit on this chair, there's a book nearby. You go to that couch, there is a book nearby. You go to the bedroom, there is a book nearby. You go to the kitchen, there is a spiritist book, a spiritual book, a help, an inspirational book, anywhere and everywhere. Finally, number 7, do not indulge in anger. Now he gives us lessons in emotion, emotional intelligence. He says, do not indulge in anger, discouragement, lightness, or unhappy desires. So what do I do, Vanessa? Like this. Let's say I vibrate, and an emotion is externalization of these vibrations. Let's say this is anger. It doesn't look cute yet. Oh, anger, I can feel you. Talk to the anger and say, I know you're there. I understand why you're there. But you know, let's say a prayer together. And then after the prayer, that's how anger is gonna look like. Like a smile. I'm not kidding, because that's exactly what he says. Say a prayer to regain the balance, to regain harmony. Dr. Herbert Benson from Harvard University talks about this relaxation response that can be triggered in our body through prayer, through visualizations, through affirmations, through yoga, through good books. So open a good book and say, I'm going to read this page and get my mind somewhere else. Tune into cardiac radio. Breathe, right, Teresa Castro? Exactly. Relaxation breathing. Yes. I got several of these smiles for tomorrow. Heart Day at the Spirit Side of Virginia. We're going to broadcast the second part at 2 p.m. here. Cardiac Radio, we're going to be doing just that. Walk in optimism and goodwill. No wonder Jesus said, peace on earth, goodwill towards men. Optimism. But Vanessa, the world, North Korea, the United States. G-O-D, God is here. G-O-D, God is everywhere. Yes, God is everywhere. God is taking care of everything. And do not keep your mind in complaint, he says. Cultivate constant and selfless assistance to others. This is the ultimate goal. Without charity, there's no salvation. So go there now. FraternityWithoutBorders.org. Talk to Angelita. Talk to Les Severo. Go to any organization. Send a beautiful message to somebody who is in need of, you have social media. Put a beautiful post. You'll be helping other people. And thought will rise victorious to serve in the name of God. Right? Exactly. This text is channeled by Chico Xavier. Exactly. By Andre Luiz. And this is precisely the message you can read on the latest issue of the Spiritist Magazine, thespiritistmagazine.com. Friends, let's keep the focus. Let's not forget, we're here temporarily as children of God, and we reincarnated to learn to do good. So we're open to reincarnate. Raise your hand if you're open. Let's keep moving forward, and not forget that tomorrow, God willing, we will be back with more spirit wisdom for the Spiritist Practitioner. This is it for now, friends. A big hug of gratitude, and tomorrow, don't forget, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Cardiac Radio is going to broadcast how to cultivate cultural sensitivity as a Spiritist Practitioner. Thank you, friends. Big hug, and until tomorrow.